Thanks for joining. We'll just give it a couple of moments for people to get on the webinar and then we will begin. Okay, thanks very much. Really appreciate you joining today. My name is Eddie Thompson. I'm Lead Solution Engineer for Sumo Logic here in APAC. And today I'm going to be talking to you about software development optimization, and more specifically, our Sumo Logic software development optimization solution. And the reason for this is one of the things we talk about a lot today is observability. And one of the things we really look to sort of bring at Sumo is observability value. So we talk a lot about democratizing machine data. So we really sort of love to see when customers are getting the best value out of the platform. And what that means is multiple teams and multiple different use cases being able to use the same data in similar ways. So your DevOps and SRE teams are looking to improve their mean time to identify and their mean time to resolve. They're looking to detect unknown issues. Security are looking to identify attack vectors and sources of vulnerability. And software engineering teams, they're looking to improve the velocity and the quality of their software development. This can all be done with the same set of data. Now, today we're going to be looking at how we improve that velocity and quality of the software engineering efforts. So one of the things that we've noticed in the modern software development process is the ecosystem is so broad now. There are so many different platforms and languages and frameworks and tools in use compared to 10 years ago. It's just phenomenal. And there's just there's a lot of moving parts, and what we're really trying to do is improve and assist on how people can work through their CI/CD processes and sort of bring some business benefits to the table. So we're looking at things like faster release velocity, improved reliability and security, and greater team collaboration. So one of the things that's important here about this solution that we have at Sumo is this is real time. It's up to the minute data. It's not something that you're producing after the fact reports for. This is giving you live insights into your system. So real time actionable insights and DORA metrics for the entire organization. Because we have the full set of data, the logs and events from across the entire DevOps lifecycle, and we're normalizing these to a specific extensible schema, we're providing you that end-to-end visibility and also a really powerful tool for root cause analysis. Enrichment of the data allows teams to slice the data by meaningful dimensions. So you might have a DORA metric that rolls up for your whole organization, but you can also narrow that down to look at a particular team or business unit or service or function. And the other thing too is this is extensible. We support a bunch of different things out of the box, but it is an extensible schema. As long as you can get that data into Sumo, you can map it to the schema and extend it out to whichever products you're using or even homegrown tooling. So one of the things that's really important to mention here too is the ease of deployment. So the architecture that we have is really simple. We're looking at a lot of cloud native tools, things like Github and Jenkins, PagerDuty. These are all able to be deployed from a single Terraform template, which will go out there, set up and subscribe all of the webhooks, make sure everything's coming in, put the dashboards into Sumo, all of your FERs and things to normalize the data are already done. So it gives you one solution to monitor your software development process. You can set it up literally in minutes. I'm not joking. That's how long it takes. And we're deriving real-time insights, and there's continuous data to be able to find out what's actually going on in your environment in real time. And the why. Okay, why would you want to do this? The fact of the matter is high-performing software delivery teams win. When compared to low-performing software delivery teams, elite performers deploy code much more frequently. Their lead time from commit to deploy is an order of magnitude faster. They are much faster at recovering from incidents, and they deploy far fewer breaking changes to production. So DORA has identified 4 key metrics, and if you don't know DORA, it's the DevOps research organisation. They've done a lot of benchmarking and interviews and profiling stuff over the years, and they've basically come up with these 4 key indicators that you can use to sort of benchmark your development organisation. You can break them down into 2 categories, being measures of agility and measures of reliability. So the first 2 are deployment frequency and lead time. So how often is your code deployed to production? Faster is better, obviously. Lead time, so the time from your commit merge to production deployment, shorter is better. And then on the other side, reliability. So how long does it take you to recover from incidents? Shorter is better. And of the deployments that failed, how many subsequently required remediation? That is the percentage of your deployments that were failed in production. So lower is better there, obviously. Now, I don't want to bore you to death with slides, so I will jump into the product and run you through how it looks. So here we have a DORA metrics overview dashboard. Now, as I mentioned, one of the things I really love about this is the fact that this is a live computation of my last sort of 14 days worth of data to have a look at how I'm deriving these metrics. So this is something that you can drill into, but you're looking at what's sort of up to date. So I can see here that my deployment frequency, my average time restore, they're in green, but my lead time for changes is in yellow. And I can also see that this is trending up. And generally, I'd like to see it trending down. I'd like to see it's getting better, but it looks like it's trending up. So this is something that I would generally want to investigate. And I can do that. So I've got a bunch of different things here which allow me to sort of drill into what's happening with my metrics at more detail, and then also into various stages of my pipeline. So let's drop into the dashboard for the lead time. So what this is doing, it shows me things like what my average lead time was from the overview, but also breaking it down for things like which repos have the slowest lead time, or services or teams, which pipelines are taking the longest. So I can see my lead times trending up, and here I can see pipeline duration. Wow, okay, so I've got one called master build test, which is taking 26.76 hours. That's ages. Master deploy is only taking 2 hours. So yeah, look, that could well be an indication of why I'm having troubles here. So if I saw something like that, the first thing I'm going to do is say, hey, let's investigate my pipeline with a bit more detail. So once again, over here under pipeline monitoring, I've got my pipeline stage monitoring dashboard, which I've dropped into. Now, this allows me to see things like my pipeline execution count, the stage executions where I've had failed stages, and then also my average pipeline duration. And this is where it's really handy just to be able to sort of like visually see and flow through what's likely to be causing me issues. So I can see here master build test as before. What have I got here? Regression test, 24 hours. Okay, so I can actually sort of filter this down specifically if I wish to. So I could say regression tests. So I've filtered it down just to this particular stage now. And now I can go down and have a look at things like, okay, slowest steps. So within this particular stage, what have I got? Regression tests, run backend ETL tests. And that's taking 23 hours. So I've got one particular step here, which has obviously got something broken, but what I've been able to do really quickly is have a look at my overall sort of development metrics, see something that's trending the way I don't want it to go, investigate and drill into where it's likely to be happening, and then actually get right down to a particular step within a within a Jenkins job, which is where I obviously need to get someone to investigate to find out what's going on there. So I think that's just like a really, really powerful example of being able to have that high level metric visibility trending the wrong way, indicating that you need to investigate something, and being able to get right down to the raw data that you have there. So it's not just the high level metrics that we have as well. So this is where it becomes really powerful for your entire sort of CI/CD pipeline monitoring, is being able to see things like what's the status of my builds. So how many build events have I had? What's the proportion of my results? Got quite a lot of failures there. Which services are creating my builds? Which teams? How are my successes and failures tracking? Am I seeing big outliers in one or the other? Where are my last 10 failed builds? Where are my last 10 successful builds? And the thing here that's really great too is if I want, this one's expired, but you can see that it deep links directly into GitHub. So if I want to have a look at which one's a particular problem for me, okay, it's going to take me right to the particular GitHub issue that's related to that particular build failing. So tightly integrated, deep links, really, really great. And as mentioned, so at the moment we've got things you can filter down by the status or the repo name or the service or the team. But because this is extensible, maybe you might want to have a business unit. You might want to have tribe. If you're doing sort of squads and teams, you might want to have squads as well in here. This is all extensible. You can add this metadata and slice and dice that data whichever way you want. Now, moving on slightly, so we've been talking about things like the automation sort of side of the tool chains and investigating problems. This is one of the most powerful things in the solution, in my opinion, and that's identifying what's going on with your pull requests. Because a lot of the time we spend a lot of time investigating and chasing sort of minutes and seconds in our build chain, in our tooling, where the greatest sort of drag on some of our metrics can actually be human problems. So being able to see inside our pull request environment, what are the top services by pull requests? Who are the top reviewers? What are the average time to close by reviewers and repos by average time to close? So do we have people that are doing things really well? Do we have people doing not so well? Is it the case that we just don't have enough people trained to approve on a given repo, and that's blowing out our average time to close just because there's not enough people to close or approve the pull requests that are coming in? So being able to identify both where people are doing things well and where people need to need some assistance or need to allocate some more resources, identifying those human problems is hugely powerful as well. Once again, deep linking directly in, so if we want to check out those, we can. Now, the last thing I want to sort of take you through here, and this is the pipeline stage overview dashboard. Now, what we've got here is a sort of right to left view of what's happening in your development environment. So pipeline execution trends. So what's going on with my various pipelines? Which services have had critical alerts? So I've got my data coming in from PagerDuty here. It's saying, here's my last 10 critical alerts. Having a look at the services which have had critical alerts. What are my last 10 failed deployments? I can go to those particular commits that have resulted in failed deployments. Tracking back from the deploys to the builds. What are my last 10 failed builds? What are the pull requests with the time to close by hours? Where are my issues in Jira? How many have I got that have been critical? What's my volume of to-dos versus done? What am I seeing in my trending on my issues? Where are the issues that take the longest time to close? Being able to sort of see being able to sort of see that end-to-end environment view from your most recent deployments right through to your issues in Jira is just a really sort of powerful view of what's going on in detail versus what's going on in the metrics that have been defined. And the thing to remember here is these metrics are defined by DORA. This isn't something that Sumo has cooked up. So this, if you are calculating these metrics, you can compare yourselves to other organizations which are tracking against the same metrics, which makes it a really useful sort of meta goal for broader sort of software development orgs. So I really hope that this has been interesting or informative, or at least a bit of fun for you to find out. Now, if you are interested in giving this a go, this is available within the Sumo Logic app catalog. So if you're a current Sumo Logic customer, this does not require any additional SKUs or anything. This is just going to take the audit data that you require to deploy it. And you can go through and add the integration, run through the details for deploying with a Terraform script, or it can be done manually. If you are an Atlassian customer and not a Sumo customer, you can actually deploy this directly from the Atlassian marketplace. If you're not a Sumo customer yet and you would like to set up a trial, that can be done by going to sumologic.com and clicking on the Start Free Trial button. And you can be up and away and trying that out as well. Now, as mentioned, it does take some data to run that, but it's sort of audit data. It's not particularly chatty for most sort of sources. So yeah, really recommend jumping on and checking it out, because it's really high value sort of information that you're getting, as opposed to the volume of sort of data that it takes to ingest. So thank you very much for coming along today. As I said, my name's Eddie Thompson, and I really appreciate you taking the time to check this out with us. Before I go, I suppose, if there's anyone who has any questions, please pop those into the chat box and I'll be happy to answer them. I should have said that at the start. I normally do. Apologies. And see, James has helpfully dropped a couple of links in there for the free trial, and also to join us on our public Slack channel at slack.sumologic.com. Doesn't seem to be any other questions, so I shall wrap it up here. Yeah, once again, thanks very much for your time.